Good morning, students. Welcome again in your English class. Today we shall learn about the third poem of your book First Flight, and the poem's name is A Tiger in the Zoo, written by Leslie Norris. About the poet George Leslie Norris, from 21st May 1921 to 6 April 2006, was a prize-winning Welsh poet and short story writer. Welsh are the people belong to the country Wales, and Wales is a country in southwest Great Britain. He taught at academic institutions in Britain and the United States, including Brigham Young University. Norris wrote the poems of universal significance and great emotional power. In this poem, A Tiger in the Zoo, the poet gives a sharp contrast of the life of a tiger. He compares the mood and environment of a tiger imprisoned in the zoo with the tiger in its natural habitat or in the forest. The poet highlights the contrast between freedom and captivity. Captivity means kept in cage. Very impressively, he shows us how love for freedom is the natural instinct of every living being. I think at present, due to the outbreak of COVID-19, we all have experienced the value of freedom. In spite of having all the comforts and facilities, we are striving for our freedom of moving outside. Therefore, we can feel the pitiable condition of all the animals and birds in cage. The poem presents a clear image of it. So let's start the poem. He stalks in his vivid strips the few steps of his cage on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. The meanings of some difficult words. Stalks means to move quietly. Vivid means clear. And strips, on the tiger's body some linings are there, that is long narrow bands. It is called strips. Pads, the soft part under the foot of the tiger, which we called paws. Quiet means silent and rage means anger. He stalks in his vivid strips, means there are clear strips on the tiger's body and he moves quietly in the limited space given in the cage. It can take few steps in the cage. Next, its paws are soft like velvet. As you know that velvet cloth is very soft in touch. In the same way, the poet compares its paws with the velvet. And no noise is produced when it walks on its pads of velvet. The tiger is silent but in anger. Here, the opposition is given. The tiger is silent as he is helpless here, but in anger as he is in cage. Now the second stanza. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass, near the water hole where plump deer pass. Lurking means hiding, sliding means moving, hole, that is the pool, plump means fat. So in the first stanza, the poet describes the tiger in cage which is frustrated. But now the poet suggests that cage is not the proper place for the tiger. It is not its natural habitat. Usually, tigers are found sitting under some bushes or long grasses near a stream or water hole. As soon as they see their prey, prey means hunt and to kill the animals for food. So as soon as it sees its prey like deer coming there to drink water, it moves silently through the grass and kill them. Here the poet wants to say that tiger should be in its natural habitat, that is in jungle or forest, hunting and resting. Now the third stanza. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. Snarling means to make an angry and warning sound. Baring means showing. Fangs means two long sharp teeth at the front side of the mouth of animals. Terrorizing means to create fear among people or make them frightened. As we human beings are cutting down the trees continuously, so in this stanza the poet points out that if we continue to destroy the forest cover and the natural habitat of the tigers, they will be forced to turn to our towns and villages to find their food. The tiger would be angrily moving around the houses in a nearby village at the edge of the jungle, and it would be terrorizing the people passing that way. Terrorizing means make them frightened by showing its sharp teeth, by showing its claws, and the sound of anger. Thus, he would become a cause of terror for the village people. Now the next stanza. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. Concrete cell means a very small and unpleasant cage, and stalking again, moving slowly or moving silently. In the previous two stanzas, the poet describes the tiger in its natural habitat searching for its food. But now the poet shows deep sympathy at the unpleasant condition of the tiger that is imprisoned in a cell made of concrete. Concrete is the mixture of cement and the stone by which a wall is made. His strength behind bars. As you all know that the tiger is a powerful animal. So the poet says that the whole strength of the tiger is locked behind the bars as the strong bars are fixed. Stalking the length of his cage means he keeps on moving quietly and in anger in the limited space which is given in the cage. He completely ignores the visitors passing through that way, as none of them thinks of releasing him from his prison. Now the last stanza. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Last voice means the people going back to their houses, especially the people of zoo authority. Patrolling cars means the cars of police. Stares means to have a look, to have a glance. Brilliant eyes. No doubt there is pride and confidence in the tiger's eyes, but here it is hopeful for freedom. Brilliant stars means the bright future of freedom. So, the poet again takes the reader to the cage where the tiger is sitting helpless. Even at night, he remains disturbed due to the noise that comes from the patrolling cars of the people of the zoo authority who are returning back to their homes. He shows no interest in them. He stares at the shining stars in the sky with his brilliant eyes. His brilliant eyes show that he still hopes for the day when he would be able to run free in the forest and live in the natural surroundings. So, the poem conveys the message that the wild animals should be left in their natural habitat. I would like to ask a question from you. Have you visited a zoo? Do you see the wild animals happy there? If not, just go at once. As per my experience, I did not see them happy because they work as per the instructions of their owner. Hence, a wildlife sanctuary and national park are the good alternatives for animals to provide them protection as well as natural surroundings. So now Let us discuss the literary devices used in the poem. Rhyme scheme. Each stanza of the poem follows the same rhyme scheme A, B, C, B. Next is personification. The poet gives the tiger the human attributes. Generally, we call the animals with it, but the poet calls the tiger with he. The next poetic device is metaphor. The poet compares the tiger's pad with velvet. Next one is enjambment. We can see in the second stanza the three lines are written in a single sentence without any punctuation marks. Next one is oxymoron. Oxymoron is a poetic device where the two opposite terms are used together. Here, quite rage. The tiger is silent, but he is in anger. So I think the poem's meaning is very clear in your mind. Just to read the poem once again at home. Thank you.